Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 212 for Tuesday, the 25th of June 2024. I'm the host, Mark Webb, gamertag, PSND, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me today is...
It's too hot to be recording Nick Fights.
And Sensei Switch.
No, I do look like... I know my arm looks like it's in a weird position, but I've got this little cup, and it's filled with ice and water, and I'm keeping my thumb in it because I burnt my thumb while I was cooking dinner, and it really hurts. So I'm sitting here podcasting with my thumb in icy water. So that's why my arm looks like it's in a weird place. I'm not doing anything dodgy, I swear.
That's why men should stay out of the kitchen and leave it to the women.
Wow. There we go. I won't comment on that. But how are we all? All good? Hot and grumpy. I'm hot
and grumpy on a Monday because we couldn't record on a Sunday because someone had to go to London.
Oh, I had to go yesterday and it sucked ass. Yeah, so Twitch people, Dougster's here. Hello, Dougster. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here. Right, so let's get the little bit of bits out of the way that I need to. So, mentioned Redtone last week. Found out a little bit more information this week. I did put some in the show notes last week. So, Redtone was, as I mentioned last week, a valued member of the 360G community. I spoke to him quite a bit on our Discord group. He was a big PC gamer. He did also have a PlayStation and Xbox. He was only 44 years old, which is not very old to be having a heart attack and passing away. A few of his PC gaming mates messaged me this week, so thank you very much for that. They've joined the Discord, and I know one of them at least is going to the funeral on Thursday, which I will be attending. So that'd be nice just to not to catch up, but just to share some memories, etc. Sad thing though, as well, is Redtone was 44, but he also had a wife and a baby, which makes it even more heartbreaking. So we're going to try and do something maybe for a charity or to help his family out financially. Maybe do, maybe a run or maybe sort out some kind of gaming marathon or something like that. Try and raise some money. As I say, like one of the suggestions was for the Heart Foundation because they do good work. Or to help out his family. We haven't sorted out the details, but we might have a discussion about that on Thursday after the funeral at the wake. So I will let everyone know in the community what we are doing. So it's just to let people know, really. If you did know him, feel free to reach out to me and share some stories. If you are going to the funeral, let me know. As well, because it'd be nice to know in advance who's going. If anybody from our community, if anyone gamed with him, I don't know. Apart from myself, but yeah, it is on Thursday. If you need any details, just let me know, and I'll send you the coordinates. So. Well, I can just tell you now, it's on the 27th of June, 12:30 at Chesterfield crematorium. And I will put that in the show notes as well. And it is in last week's show notes too. So, okay. I've had a little bit of a gaming week going on. Played some newish games, which has been quite cool. Which I'm going to talk about. So... first game I'm going to talk about is actually, it's got Peebs back playing his Xbox as well, which is amazed me because, he's such a PlayStation fanboy these days. A little game that hit Game Pass called Still Wakes the Deep. And I know that Darren has purchased a physical copy of this as well.
Yeah.
Have you played it yet?
Yes.
You
I haven't
have.
completed all of it, but I've played it for a bit, yeah.
Excellent. What's your thoughts?
I'm really liking it so far. Obviously, it's made by the Chinese Room,
Yeah.
people who made Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture back on the sort of PS4, and this is basically like a Scottish sort of horror stroke kind of thing set on a North Sea oil rig.
Yeah.
And I must say the attention to detail, it wouldn't have surprised me in the slightest if like some of the members of the development staff didn't actually go and stay on an oil rig.
Yeah, 100%.
For a bit, to obviously like map one down and get all the different sort of things, because it's quite a good looking product as well.
Yeah. No, yeah,
and,
it's
yeah,
beautiful.
Things kind of go south pretty quickly. I imagined Colin would kind of like this game because it's of the language.
Yes.
It's got all of like the Scottish slang and terminology and all that kind of stuff in it. And as apparently you can play the game in like Gaelic as well.
Yeah, you can. There's achievement for it as well.
Right. But yes, I'm getting very strong The Thing vibes mixed with like The Abyss.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Lovecraft in there as well. With what kind of seems to be happening with it. But yeah, you go for it, mate, because obviously you've played a little bit more.
So I've actually completed it. Right. It's quite a short game. It took me 4 hours and 8 minutes, according to my Xbox achievement stats. Got around 500 and something achievements. I really enjoyed it. Actually, my missus watched me play through the whole game as well, and she wouldn't let me play it without her there because she was really into it. And what you were saying, Darren, it does have a lot of attention to detail. It's set in the 70s.
Yeah, 75 or something, isn't it?
And what's really interesting about that is they've really nailed down the history very well. With, especially with like the way the cabins are all set up, because you've got this like. Obviously, it's set in Scotland, but there's some British people in it as well, and there's kind of that angst between the people. And one of the British guys, you go into his cabin and you see a National Front
stuff, yeah.
flyer in there. Just got like a big Union Jack on the wall, and then underneath there's a National Front flyer.
Doesn't the guy say like "fucking asshole" or something?
Yeah, and it's actually like a real, like it's pretty much a scan of a real one from that time period.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's just really interesting, actually. Just they've got all that kind of politics and stuff in there from that era, because I guess there was some kind of, so like looking at some of the posts on the wall, there was some saying this is Scotland's oil, not England's, and stuff like that. So there's all this politics back then, I think, of this oil should be for Scotland only and not for the rest of the UK. So it's just quite interesting seeing all that kind of history there. Especially for,
plus obviously, I think as well one of the other reasons is you eliminate mobile phones out of the equation. Yeah. So there's none of this like, I'll just check his mobile, send him a message on so and so to track people down and that. And obviously it's more isolated when you can't do that.
Yeah, 100%. But graphically, I mean, I played it all on the Xbox. It looks really nice, but what I found was I had to, after about an hour, I didn't realise until someone messaged me, there's actually in the graphical options to put it onto performance mode.
Oh yeah, I spun the camera and straight away I was like, no, I ain't having that.
Yeah, because it was a little bit jarring just playing at that 30, and I think a lot of time it was sub at 30 FPS. It was just a bit jarring on my eyes. I put it straight into performance mode, and it was fine. I didn't actually
Absolutely
really.
fine. Yeah.
I didn't actually
Notice any drop?
No,
Yeah,
I
in
didn't.
quality.
No. I thought it looked great anyway. So that was good. Apparently, there was a little bit of a hoo ha with the PC version though, because
Oh, it
on
hasn't got DLSS and some of the other options or something, hasn't it?
yeah, only on the Game Pass version. So on Steam, if you buy it on Steam, you get all the DLSS and all that, all those extra options. But on the PC Game Pass version, that's all been omitted.
Weird. Why?
I
I'd
don't
imagine
know
it was the
why.
same product.
Well, yeah, because you think it'd be the same game just on a different storefront, but apparently that's not the case because the devs actually did come out and say, oh, we're only a small team, we couldn't do it on that. And I was thinking, bollocks. You just put the same fucking game on both launches and job done, you know what I mean? So I think they just didn't want the Game Pass users to have it. But
They're not the only one, are they?
no. So, but no, okay, so I'm going to just say this. The game was really good. I did really enjoy it. However, it was only 4 hours long. I reckon they could have made they could have halved this game and just made it a 2 hour game, because there's a lot of sections in the game where it just feels like filler to prolong the game.
You're on an oil rig though. It's not exactly a big place, is it?
No.
Particularly.
No, but there's so basically there's sections in the game where you got to hide from monsters, right? And it's not scary. It's just more annoying because you're like they're just walking around. You got to figure out their movements to get past them, and some of those sections just took ages. And I was just like, oh come on, I just want to get past this now and crack on with the story. There was a lot of sections where you're kind of swimming around trying to figure out where to go, etc. And it was just like, oh, so there was a lot of sections of the game where I was thinking, oh, come on, you know what I mean? But there is some real tense sections in the game, though, where you're being chased and you're like, oh, fucking hell, it's going to get me sort of thing. And
yeah, because I was wondering why I was clicking in my thumbstick and I was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, it's the old, look behind you while you're still moving forward buttons. Obviously that's going to be, when something's, chasing you down and you can check where they are.
Definitely. But what's really good about it is it's kind of like a walking story game. There's no fight. There's no, using weapons or fighting or anything like that. It's all, figuring out some puzzles, trying to navigate the environment to avoid some enemies. And then there's the story, and that's about it really. But it's really well done. It really is, and I really enjoyed it. To be honest,
all seem completely believable, and even the situations of the sort of usual things where you'll get where it's like, oh mate, while you're down there, do us a favour and fix that up for me, and he'll chuck you a screwdriver, which you'll then use for the majority of the rest of the thing. You know what I mean? To open rates and Jimmy locks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I know I've pooed it a little bit, but I definitely think it's worth a play. Especially if you've got Game Pass and it's not costing you anything extra. Obviously, you've bought it down. I don't think it's a full price title anyway.
No, it was about 25, 30 quid at the most, I think, something like that, depending on where you get it from.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good game, man. And as I say, I really like. It's nice to have something that's not American with American accents. It's nice to have some Scottish accents in a game, you know what I mean? Because it just feels different to any other game I've played, to be honest. It's quite niche, really.
Yeah, as well, when you're sort of obviously playing it at the start, one of the first things I noticed was it's literally people speaking how they actually speak.
Yeah.
It's not scripted, so straight away when you start the game off, there's abuse and shouting and all that kind of stuff, because that's how people are.
Yeah.
It generally is. Doesn't matter where you work, doesn't matter where you generally go, you're always going to have a bit of banter or a bit of slagging people off, and it's just the way it is.
HR doesn't find out.
Yeah. But no, it feels very real and
This
very
is before
believable.
HR existed, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really good game. I really, really enjoyed it, but yeah, it did feel like a little bit of a slog at times. So there's
If you
that.
got Game Pass, it's definitely worth checking out for
Oh,
free
100%.
anyway.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just to soak in the atmosphere of a weird, interesting scenario
Yeah.
of being stuck on an oil rig in the middle of the sea while shit's going down.
100%.
I did actually like the weird effect of, like, when you're around, obviously, people who are affected, or obviously the entity or whatever the fuck it is, like, your screen goes really weird, doesn't it? Like, your
Yeah.
character's freaking out.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit near the start, isn't it, where he's basically looking at something and he's like, I can't stop. I want to look away, but I can't. And then he's pulled out of it by someone shouting at him.
Yeah.
Sort of kind of thing, so...
Yeah. Awesome.
Just imagine if they did a Bioshock in those visuals.
Oh man, I mean, I still think Bioshock's pretty holds up okay even today.
It
but
does
no, I
still
know what you
reasonable, but yeah.
mean. Cool. Yeah, so that's Still Wakes the Deep. It's really good. So it's on Game Pass. Check it out. And off to Nick.
Yeah, I haven't played much over the last couple of weeks. I've been working silly hours, but I played Halo, didn't I, with you, Webby, on both of the gamer night thing.
Yeah.
I don't think, did we play last week? Because I was working the night shift, so I don't know. I didn't play. I don't know. Did you play?
I play every day.
What, Halo every day?
I've been playing pretty much a little bit of Halo most days, yeah.
Oh, I installed it because my Game Pass is running out soon. So.
That's sad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I enjoyed it because I was playing with like people and stuff. Because I'm not a lover of Halo normally. Like the multiplayer, I preferred Halo 5 and that because that was more like COD. Whereas like, this Halo, it was okay. I mean, it was like for me, it just seems very bullet spongy.
That's Halo.
Like a lot. Yeah, I know, but it seems bullet spongy for when I'm shooting people. But when people shoot me, I always seem to be one hit kill.
That's because they're headshotting, mate. Because they.
I know. Because I suppose the only people left. Yeah, the only people left playing this now are, I suppose, the majority of people who just love it and just play it constantly.
Yeah.
That was fun. I think the few bits I did enjoy, you know, when we have the levels with all the vehicles and all the stuff.
Yeah.
And we get all the tanks and stuff, and we're floating around in all those tanks. That was quite a laugh.
Yeah.
And then you got on that massive thing that went about 2 miles an hour for some reason.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny where you were like, Nick, get on the turret.
Oh, the
get
elephant.
on the turret.
Yeah.
And then so I jump on the back of your warthog and you're like, let's go. And then you start singing the Halo tune.
Yeah.
And then we usually get blown up within 20 seconds.
Yeah. That's just the way.
But that's Halo. But yeah, that's fun. Like I said, I think that's fun multiplayer with people in party chat. But if you're on your own, that's just a bit,
Yeah, I've been playing it a lot on my own and just jumping in and just playing a couple of games and having a bit of fun, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. I love a bit of Halo. It's all good.
Yeah. But you've been back playing campaigns again, ain't you?
Yeah, I've not played any this week. But no, I've done on the MCC all of them apart from I'm about halfway through Halo 4 at the moment. And then they'll all be done.
I'll tell you what, that came out late on the 360 and that gets some grief, but that's a really good game, good looking game as well.
It is a good looking game, yeah.
You know, I don't think there's much on Xbox One that looks better than that, to be honest.
It looks good.
But I think games like that, graphically, I don't think they've got much better, but things like lighting and AI have gotten a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
But just normal, like, you know, plain graphics, I don't think we've got a lot better.
No, and I was thinking that when I was playing Halo 4, I was thinking if this come out now, I'd still be really happy with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just it's like that Nintendo effect, isn't it? Their games have a really good style and they just don't really seem to age.
And you know, everything. I mean, if you really, I suppose if you put it on a digital foundry type thing and they really zoom in on stuff and they can show you, well, this texture
is better than this. 16 times resolution
things like that,
zoom,
stuff that we don't really see when you're running around normally, but, you know, it's there.
Yeah.
But that's good. I don't know when they'll get another Halo, because what's it, 3 years since the last Halo? Maybe 4?
Yeah, Infinite didn't do very well, though, did it?
No, because the story was okay, but really short.
It could have done without the open world, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then, half of the modes weren't there day one.
I mean, the multiplayer on it is good now, to be honest.
Yeah, I know everything's good now, but when it comes out, it's not good.
Yeah, it needs to come out good.
Yeah. Plus a lot of the stuff that they promised later, like co-op, they've just cancelled it.
I think co-op's in there, mate. People are telling me it's in there.
No, they can't. Well, they did cancel it. I don't know if they've gone, but I'm sure they cancelled co-op story campaign.
No, it's in there. It's in there. Oh, definitely in there, yeah, because people are telling me he was playing it with his son.
Well, fair enough. It took him a while then.
Yeah. Cool.
Switch?
Well, apart from obviously tinkering a little bit with Still Wakes the Deep, just mainly a bit of Fallout 4.
Are you still playing a bit of Fallout, are you? Wow.
Yeah, sort of going through it. Like I said before, I've avoided the Minutemen and avoided all of the stupid, nonsensical settlement crap.
Yeah.
That I can't stand. And I've been having fun with it. It still has its weird, glitchy Bethesda moments where like things just go like weird and strange for almost like what feels like no reason at all. And then I had enemies spawning behind me, and then after resetting my game and like quitting it and rebooting it, that stopped. So it obviously was just a glitchy issue of people appearing that shouldn't have been appearing at that point. But yeah, I've seen a lot more of the game and a lot more of the areas and stuff than before, because I got so annoyed with like the settlement stuff before that I just stopped playing it altogether.
Ah, okay. It's weird how a TV show makes people want to play games again.
I didn't watch the TV show.
Did you get caught up in all the hype of everyone else playing it? Or
Not really. It was just the next gen update, and I just thought I'll give it another bash.
Yeah.
But
because I do like Bethesda games.
What, a month after the TV show, or pretty close to it as well?
I'm not actually sure. I can't believe you've not watched the TV show, Darren. I'm quite surprised. It's really good.
No time. I've heard conflicting reports from. It depends who I speak to. Some people say it's shit, and other people say it's good.
We should always believe the webmaster.
It's good. It's not out of this world fantastic, but it's good. It's better than the Halo TV series, and I know it didn't have to be that much better to be better than that, but
I'm quite enjoying season 2 of Halo. I'm watching it at the minute.
You're a Halo fanboy, you know this.
Yeah, I know. Well, I actually did. I was probably one of the only people that enjoyed the first season, but there we go. I'm preferring it to the latest season of The Boys, that's for sure.
Why has that gone crap now?
It's gone a bit shit, yeah.
Oh.
It went crap in season 1. Come on, boys.
I enjoyed the first 2 seasons. Season 3 was
like episode
okay.
3. By episode 3 or 4, I was out. I was just like, nah, I ain't fucking dealing with this. I don't. Yeah.
And I've only watched the first episode. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, if you want nihilistic superheroes, just watch Watchmen or read Watchmen, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of done with that trope. It's boring now.
Fair dues.
In my opinion. But yeah, if people love it, that's all good. It's always good for people to have stuff to watch.
Yeah. Cool. Well, shall I go back to me then? If you're talking
yeah, you might as well. There's not really a great deal to really speak about with Fallout, is there? Everyone's finished it like 8 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah. All right. Well, I played another game that's not brand new, but actually no, I'll talk about the brand new game actually that came out a few weeks ago. The Destiny 2 expansion. I've been playing it. Destiny 2. What's it called? The something.
Shape of my life, I think.
The what the fuck? My mind. The final shape. The final.
I was close.
How did I forget that? It's because I'm on the spot. Yeah, so it's actually I've been having quite a bit of fun. Just give me a second. So Dougster's just put a message in the Twitch saying, "Do you remember Geometry Wars?"
Hmm.
Earlier on, I just had the urge to play it. Can't though. Don't own an Xbox anymore. Dougster, were you not listening to the pod? You must have heard me talking about it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago because I was saying I've been playing the Xbox 360 again, and the Geometry Wars games are all backwards compatible. So I was playing it only a couple of weeks ago. So I reckon you've heard me talking about it and forgotten, and it's got you back into playing it. All that subliminal messaging from me. Um. Anyway, so yeah, I've been playing some Destiny 2 now. I hadn't actually played it for 2 years. The so I didn't actually pick up the last DLC because apparently it was really shit. I think the last one I bought before this was Witch Queen, which I think was quite a long time ago now.
Isn't that in Destiny 1?
No, it was Destiny 2. Um, but a lot of people talking about how good the campaign is on this one, how long it is. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Now the thing is, right, loads of people have picked it up in our Discord, but it came out, say, at the beginning of the month, well, about a week in, so it's about 2 or 3 weeks ago, say 2.5 weeks ago. So everyone's already finished it. So could I get anyone in our Discord to fucking come and do the campaign with me? No. And these games are always best in co-op. But luckily, good old Pudster from my Xbox friends list was more than happy to go through the campaign with me. So big shout out to Pudster. Because even though he'd already finished it, he was like, yeah, Webby, we'll do this together. So I had one co-op buddy for all of it. And then Coopster joined for a few missions as well. So I've had some co-op fun times on it. So that's been quite good. But what I will say, those people have said, oh, yeah, it's much longer than all the other campaigns. Is it fuck? I was calling, I said to, I was saying to Pudstar, because we're playing on Saturday night, and I said, oh, we must be about halfway through the campaign now. And he said, no, mate, you're on the last mission. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're on the last mission now. I was like, well, people be telling me that this was longer than all the other ones. And he was like, well, it is. And I was like, I think this has only been about 4 hours of gameplay. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 5 at a push. And I was like, that to me is not a long campaign. You know what I mean? Because like even though I've had fun with it, it's been very repetitive in the aspect of all the bosses are pretty much exactly the same. So basically you got a boss and then you got to shoot these other mini bosses in the boss area to bring the shield of the main boss down, or you see these like glyph symbols and you got to match the glyph symbols. You got to remember what they look like and then run into the same glyph symbols in the area to bring the shield down. And pretty much every boss is pretty much like that, which is a little bit annoying. I think they could have changed it up a little bit in my opinion. And there's a lot of jumping as well, a lot of areas where you got to jump around, like typical Destiny. You'll fall off their edges a lot trying to jump around.
You fall off edges and die more than actually getting shot in an FPS, yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I was expecting a bit more. I shouldn't have, because I know what all the Destiny expansions have been like, and I've always felt burnt before, and I feel a little bit burnt this time around as well, to be honest. Just because of the lack of story content. Well, Dougster, not Dougster, Pudster was saying to me though that I have one mission left to do, and it's like a raid with like 12 people or something. So I'm probably going to do that tomorrow, and then that'll be the true ending, apparently.
All
But
right.
but to be positive though, it's it's been out for a few years now. It still looks really good. It's smooth as butter. Like the gunplay is proper Bungie.
Bungie,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Never
absolutely
thought that.
solid. It feels great when you play it, and you know, and the reason why I picked this up as well is because we're so lacking, I feel, in co-op games at the minute that I'll pretty much take what I can just to be playing a co-op game with people on my friends list and stuff. Yeah.
Or actually sort of PvE FPSs in general.
Mm.
Like outside of COD,
Yeah.
there isn't really many anymore, is there?
No. No. So don't get me wrong, I had fun. I really did have fun with it, but it was just again, it's typical Destiny, too short, very repetitive. Um, but apart from that, it's okay. They've started these seasons now, so there's season one story content that I still need to do. So that's going to take me a little bit of time as well. So it's not like I've got nothing to do on it. So I'll be going back to it this week and doing some stuff. But obviously, the Final Fantasy 14 expansion is out on Friday, so you know what I'm going to be doing all weekend. So this will keep me going. It's pretty decent. So just want to say hello to Psytrance Visuals in the Twitch, who says, I played Geometry Wars last week on the 360 after seeing Webby play Blur the other week. The 360 is still king. The 360 is indeed the greatest console of all time. And just a reminder to people that the online store for the 360 is closing down this week. And there's a massive sale. You're getting up to 90% off games on the 360 store at the minute. So pick up those games that are not backwards compatible, or you can get on disc now, because otherwise you're not going to be able to play them unless you want to start your journey into emulation, or B, hack your 360 to run ROMs, which apparently is quite easy to do, but just don't put it online. So
is the store closing down completely, or will it still allow you to download stuff you actually already own?
You can download stuff you already own, but I think I mentioned this last time. I remember on the 360, it's a pain in the ass, because you go to like the right hand menu on your 360, and there's a little button that says purchases, and it's just a list. You have a list, you've got to scroll down. So say if you've bought like 400 or 500 games, like I probably have on the 360, it'll take you bloody ages just to find the game that you're after.
Yeah, and there's no like organised alphabetically or
nothing
whatever.
like that at all.
It's just whatever.
Yeah.
And also a lot of people say it's a bit of a pain getting on your 360 even now, because if you've got that whole two-step authentication, or where you sign in using the Microsoft app, like it sends a thing to your phone and you put your fingerprint on, it's a bit iffy, and you might get confused and think, why, this is my password I use. You can't use that password. You have to set it up so they send you a one-time password to like your email, and then so you use the email you use for your Xbox One or whatever, and then this new one-use only password to get in. So if
you had to do that because I'm passwordless on my Microsoft stuff. So I got a message in my app on my phone with the password.
Yeah, that's what I got recently, which is good, but it's just a bit more fiddly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but no, the Xbox 360 is still great. As I say, I've been playing Blur, and some other games. I'm probably going to have a look on the sale probably tomorrow just to see what's on there. Because I say there's some really good games on that, but I think I've pretty much already own everything I want on the 360, because during that era I spent a lot of money on games, and I'm pretty sure in my mind that I have everything digitally that I've always wanted anyway. But it's always good to have a look. I might miss some hidden gems or something. So, but apparently I was talking to someone at work today, and they were saying that they've got a hacked 360. And it's really easy to download the games off the internet and put them on anyway. So if you really were desperate, there's always that as a backup, I guess. Yeah, so back to Destiny 2 just very quickly. Yeah, it's cool, but if you're on the fence, I'll probably wait for a sale or something. I don't know, but yeah, all good. We'll go back to Nick.
Yeah, hang on. Notes. What have I been playing? Yeah, after Graham was about this the other day, and I was on Game Pass because I didn't really fancy anything to do. I playing that Pressure Wash Simulator.
Yes.
I thought I just wanted to see what it was because it's like quite big, and I was like, "What's this stupid thing? Oh, you just clean it." And then I got a little bit addicted to it, and but the problem is I'm not really sure how it works that well because I did this fountain, and that must have took me 4 or 5 hours to do this huge fountain where, I mean, people are filthy in this game. And the problem is, like you say, you've got all your different attachments and you get your soap and stuff like that. And I couldn't work out, I thought, how do I use soap? Did they tell me anything? I'm not sure. So then I used like all 4 bottles of soap in one like small area.
Oh no.
And I didn't know if you're supposed to, put it out or use a certain attachment to cover more or whatever. So I thought, oh, that's all gone. So I tried to buy some more from the store. But I bought loads, but I don't think you can use it if you're already on a job or something.
I have no idea.
Possibly. But yeah, it was a bit of a pain. And you keep pressing like right on the D-pad and it shows you the parts you've missed with like a little, like, it sort of glows yellow.
Up. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I need to get this done now because I must have spent like half an hour to an hour and it was only at like 8%. So I'm like, oh dear. So I spent all last week just zoning out while I was working the night shift or before work and stuff like that. Just like pressure washing this thing. And I thought, right, I've got it to 100%. And I thought, let's do another one. And I got about 5 minutes out. I thought, I can't be bothered to do this again.
Well, it's a job, isn't it? And if I mean, my boy likes playing this every now and again. Me and him did some co-op this week because you can actually do online co-op. But
yeah,
even he was like, after 10 minutes, he's like, "Yeah, I've had enough, Dad," and was like,
"Yeah,
okay."
Plus also the noise of the jet wash constantly going. Sometimes that can give you a bit of a headache.
You don't find it quite soothing, no?
I did for a little while, and then after like an hour, it was just ringing in my ears type thing. So I'd play that. But then I'd have like YouTube on in the background, like watching something or listening to some music or something. That was a bit more fun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I know there's a lot of... Because I think Graham said there was like a Tomb Raider expansion. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying actual money for it, though.
No, because I did have some stuff for free, like the Final Fantasy one. But there is paid ones I saw, and I was like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, couldn't work out how to use the soap to make it easier to clean, and it just took so long to get it 100%.
Fair dues.
But it's fun. It's clever. There's no other games like that out there. So
yeah.
Well, you've got loads of simulators. Pressure. Well, you've got truck driver simulator, and bus driver, trains, all that sort of stuff. So that's fun. I mean, I doubt anyone who does pressure wash works at a car wash for a living wants to come home and play this.
No. Cool.
Yeah, it's good little fun.
Darren? I think we've sent Darren to sleep talking about Power Wash Simulator. He's not there, is he?
Says he's there. Well, if you do the next one, then he might come back in a minute.
Yeah, all right. Well, okay, so I'm going to get a bit geeky. I've been playing Star Trek Resurgence quite a bit this week. I am a self-confessed Trekkie. I do enjoy a little bit of Star Trek. Now, it kind of reminds me a little bit of those Telltale games in a weird way, like with the story, the way the story is presented, and you get a lot of options in your conversations, and it can have ramifications, you know, depending on what you say and the decisions you make throughout the game. Like certain people can die, etc., etc. But it's just very chilled out because it's done in such a way that it feels like you're playing a kind of interactive series of Star Trek, because obviously you got like Next Gen and, you know, the original Star Trek and all the other ones, right? It feels like another one of those, like it's another TV show set in that universe with all new characters, apart from Spock, who's in this. And it's just really well done. Like the graphics are okay, I guess, but it's just Star Trek.
Got that waxy looks going on in it, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's telltale.
Yeah, but it's like, but it does have bits where you're actually walking around as well. It's not all dialogue. I mean, there is a lot of dialogue in it because it's very story heavy, but it's done throughout. It's all episodic, so you'll get to a certain point and it'll come up with a title for the next kind of episode, if that makes sense. Which I really like. So as I say, it feels like you're playing through like a TV series, yeah. And it's got a really good story behind it. And it does mention stuff that's happened in actual Star Trek TV shows as well. They do, like, I did pick out something that they mentioned from Next Generation, which was really cool for us fans. So, I mean, I think the game on consoles has been out for about a year or so, but it's only just come out on PC in the last couple of weeks, which I think is quite interesting that it's only just come out on PC. But I'm playing it on Xbox. I only paid about £4 or £5 for it, which is really good. And you know, I've pumped quite a few hours into this now, maybe about 6 or 7, and I don't think I'm anywhere near the end at the minute. So it's got a good length to it. It's got, you know, all the different races of aliens, and they've all got their strengths and weaknesses. It's got a lot of politics in it, which is what Star Trek is kind of known for. So yeah, it's a really cool game, man. I think, I mean, obviously, if you're not a Star Trek fan, then you're gonna not enjoy this at all. But I think if you are a Star Trek fan, this is something that you're going to want to play because it's pretty well done, I'd say. You know, so I don't think they've had a huge budget because it looks okay, but you know, look past that. There's a good game in there. So it's got walking around bits, and you've got your you know, using your stun phaser. It's got the old bits where you got to press your buttons in time and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's got a few different gameplay elements in there. But yeah, I'm really enjoying a bit of Star Trek Resurgence, Nick. It's good.
Yeah, it does look a bit like a 360 game, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great graphics, but as I say, you know, graphics aren't everything. If you're enjoying the game, you enjoy the game, you know? So, yeah, it's good. I don't want to talk about it anymore because probably people are going to sleep, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Is Switch back yet?
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
he
in.
is.
Oh, he's back.
Where did you go?
Oh, I just had to go off to do something.
Okay, that's cool. Well, we skipped you and went back to me again.
Oh, it's fine. I'm pretty much done anyway. I haven't really played anything outside of my usual weekly, daily fucking shite.
Dues. No worries, mate. Well, I've just been talking about Star Trek and sending everyone to sleep. So I'm going to move on back to Nick again.
Yeah, so I've been playing Final Fantasy, is it Strangers of Paradise?
Oh, great game.
Yeah, I've just been enjoying it. That's a weird game. It's more of a hack and slash Final Fantasy than it is that, but a bit with like MMO elements in it. And I think it'd probably be more fun if you played it like, cause I think you played it co-op, didn't you, Webby?
Yeah, I found a random dude on the Final Fantasy Facebook group to play co-op with because obviously no one else had bought it. got it on Xbox. So you got this on Xbox?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll reinstall it then and play it. Is it on Game Pass now?
No, I got it like ages ago for like 15 quid.
Oh, brilliant. It's a great game. I think it's very underrated, I will say.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not too bad. There's a few bits. I mean, the menus and stuff, and it does throw a lot of items and costumes and weapons at you. But like in the game, you could just like go in the setting, unlock your jobs, which is pretty standard. Yet more this, more sword that. But then all the clothes, you could just click what's the word? I'm talking about it. Just like equipped all type thing, like optimized equipment.
Yeah.
It just does everything. It's kind of like auto junction they used to do in Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it up until this point because I'm basically stuck on it. There's a level, I think I'm about 5 or 6 missions in where I'm climbing up all these platforms and stuff. And I've broken a crystal. And now I'm stuck on a platform, and every time I try to like get off the platform, because you can't die from like falling off stuff, they just put you back to where you were on 1 health.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck on this platform which had a crystal on it, which I smashed the crystal, and now the ledge to the platform is gone.
Right.
So I'm gonna abandon the mission and start it all again, and I'm right near the end, I think.
Oh.
So that's fun. But yeah, I think this would be really good, like multiplayer.
It is actually really, really good because it's not like a traditional Final Fantasy game. It's very much a kind of a dungeon crawling hack and slash game, which I think this is why it's been overlooked by quite a lot of people. You know, it's got Final Fantasy in the name, so people that don't like Final Fantasy games are not going to give this a look in, and then the Final Fantasy fans are like, oh, this isn't turn-based or the standard kind of fare, so they're going to ignore it. So I don't think it actually did super well, but
no, it got discounted like really quickly.
But I think it's a good game.
It's a remake of the first Final Fantasy.
It is the story of the first Final Fantasy game, yeah.
So, but yeah, which I've seen that play. I can't, to be honest, I'm completely zoning out of the story because it's just like those. You do the dungeon crawly bit, there's a little bit of talking, and then you do more dungeon crawly bit, and then a little bit more talking, and that's just how it is. I think it's very similar to, what was it, Crisis Core?
Kind of.
Yeah, like not exactly the gameplay, but like how it just, you do the level, you get like a cutscene, you do the level, you get another cutscene, that type of thing.
Yeah, but no, it's definitely a lot better in co-op, I will say. And, you know, it's a fun game, you know, and I was saying, there's a lack of co-op games out there. This is a perfect one to play.
Plus, you can have it all up, like, you've got options for, like, difficulty, so you could just bang it on super easy mode like I am and just, like, run around hardly ever dying.
Yeah.
But until you break the game and get lost enough to start the whole mission again.
Yeah. That's good. Cool. Back to Darren then, if he's played anything else.
No, I basically said that we'd covered everything that I'd sort of played that was different.
That's cool. Have I played anything else? Not really. So I've played a little bit of Call of Duty, Home Noobs, and I've also been playing a little bit of Test Drive Unlimited 2 on the Steam Deck. Just using that mod I mentioned last week. There's I don't know if people heard because it was Patreon week. So I've been playing Test Drive Unlimited 2 on PC and Steam Deck. So basically the servers went offline in like 2017 or something like that. But there's a mod online called Project Paradise 2, which is a community-run server which brings back the online of Test Drive Unlimited 2. And it's quite popular. So usually I go on, there's around 50-something people playing. And it also brings back the casino DLC to a point. So there's a lot of stuff in the casino you can't do, but a lot of people enjoy doing the slot machines. So I've been doing this. I had been doing the slot machines with people and joining up with people just on the menu. You can see people on the map and go and cruise and do races and stuff, which is really cool. So it's just really good to bring the game back like that, because I really enjoyed Test Drive Unlimited 1 and 2, and obviously 2, i.e. has the original island of Hawaii plus Ibiza. So, it's a huge game, and it's just really cool to get that nostalgia hit and play one of these older titles with the online backing and just enjoy it with other like-minded people. So I joined their Discord and been chatting to people and just talking about the good times on Test Drive, and it's just been a really, really cool time to get back into it with the hype in that community for Solar Crown, which is coming out soon. And to be fair, it's quite an old game now, but it's still, especially on the Steam Deck screen, it still looks pretty damn good, like all the reflections coming off the buildings and stuff onto the car and all that. It still looks like a pretty decent game, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I've been really enjoying going back and playing this, and big props to the modding community for putting the effort into bringing the game back, because I've made it really easy. So if you own the game on Steam already, it's really easy to do. There's like a download and it just mods it. You put like the mod patch into the folder and it does it all for you. Has its own kind of launcher. And you can even download extras and stuff in that little mod manager. And if you don't have it on Steam because they delisted it, you can actually, they give you links of where to download the files of the game, and then it just puts into the launcher anyway, and you can just play it. So that's pretty good, I think. So the PC community keeping games alive, I love to see it, because I'm a big proponent on keeping games going and preserving gaming history. So
Yep, that's what it's called, not piracy.
no, not like what Nintendo and that are trying to do with the Internet Archive website and trying to get the ROMs taken down. But it's good to preserve that history. So yeah, that's all I've played. You guys want to mention anything else you played before we hit the news?
Yeah, finished Tomb Raider remaster. Tomb Raider 1 remaster. I haven't played the others yet. I mean, it's Tomb Raider. It's like nearly a 30-year-old game. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. The only thing that irritated me was the save, like how you save in the game. It was very easy to, instead of saving your game, it was easy to load your previous game, because the first option was load, not save, if you see what I mean.
Oh, there's been a few games that have done that nonsense.
Yeah, so that's
where you lose out on ages of work because you do the wrong thing.
Yeah, and that is good, because in this you can save anywhere in the game, whereas in the original you had, like, I can't remember if it was 3 crystals, it might be more on different levels, but you could only save in certain parts. But some of the parts of the game, you couldn't, you wouldn't know unless you've played it before. So it would kill you. And you're like, oh, well, how was I supposed to know a boulder was going to come from there? How did I know that platform was going to, fall down and stuff like that? But, it's strange, though, how much of that game... I mean, I don't think I played it on release. I think I played it a year or so later, because my original copy was the... the platinum version.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually come out a year or so after, and you get them like half price for 20 quid and stuff like that. But it's just weird how I remember so much of that. I was like, oh, now you've got to do this, now you've got to do that. And like one of the puzzles, I'm like, oh, jump, and I just remembered it.
Yeah,
like,
that's mad, isn't it?
I can remember that from almost 30 years ago, yet I can't remember half of what I did at work last week. And stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Mad, isn't it? Yeah.
It's because the stuff you do at work's repetitive.
Well, that too, but I think when you're younger, like your brain absorbs stuffs a lot better.
Yeah.
When you're older, you talk weird, like your brain absorbs stuffs better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I know that for a fact, because I'm trying to study for some exams at work at the minute, and it's just going in one ear and out the other. Really struggling to take it all in, Your
brain just doesn't want to learn, does it? It's like, no, leave me alone. You've been at work
shit.
all day.
Yeah.
Go play Halo or something.
Yeah, that's it.
But But yeah, it's pretty good. And I think I did say before, this is getting a physical release now.
Nice.
But I think as part of, I think it's normal and limited run games are doing a version as well.
Okay.
But also, I don't know if you said on one of the shows, Alan Wake 2's getting a physical release as well.
Which is good to see, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to have all like the DLC with it as well. So it's like the Game of the Year stuff. So I see it was a good job waiting for physical.
Yep. Just got to be patient.
Which I think there's going to be a lot more of that happening.
Yeah.
So a lot more people are doing stuff like...
Well, talking about physical, though, there was a bit in the news that I saw today, which I don't know if you guys caught a glimpse of, that Game is to stop selling physical games. How's that going to work?
Doesn't sell games.
They don't basically really sell games anyway if you've actually been in a game recently. It's
all just
did you read it though, Webby? Because I read it through, but they are... And stuff. But they will get games in if you pre-order them.
Yeah.
But they're only pre-order new games. You can't order anything. I mean, I don't know if you can, if they're going to do it like Argos, where you can order it online and collect in store, maybe.
Yeah, they are going to do
I imagine that's what it'd do. Yeah, you'd pre-order it, and then on the day of release, you just go into the shop to pick it up, like you used to back in the day. But they just obviously won't have any extra for the shelves.
It's just unfortunate. We know it's been coming for a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well, it's going to be more redundancies, I bet.
They haven't done themselves any favours. Like I say, you go into the shop, the games themselves have kind of been reduced to a small little section.
Yeah.
Out of the entire shop. Everyone behind the counter looks like they're going to kill themselves any second.
That's Sports Direct people in general as well, isn't it? It's a lot of where they are now. All on their 0 hour contracts.
Their prices just aren't competitive in the slightest.
No, I've seen games in there for 75, and I'm like, well, that's not a game limited edition. It's just £5 more than the 70 quid that the games are. You know, like the Sony ones. Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, I've always said I'd pay more if you got more a game. You know, if you got like, so, you know, I mean, I posted a meme and a thing like, that's what's his name from Bottom, the one that's not dead. I can't remember his.
Aid Edmondson.
That's the one. I keep getting him confused with Harry Hill, and because they're both bald, obviously. And there's a meme where he's like got the Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's like when you're reading the back of a game case over and over on the bus ride home.
Yeah.
And things like that. You know, it's what we used to like going in to get, because that's where we found out about games, either in the shop or magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I mean, quite surprised. I mean, you'd never get it now, where I remember GTA 3, I didn't know that was a thing until I saw it in the shop.
Yeah.
One of the blokes in the games, oh, you'd like that? That's getting really good reviews, Grand Theft Auto 3. It's gone 3D now. I was like, oh, all right, then I'll give it a go. It's only like 35 quid or whatever it was. But, you know, can you imagine people not knowing a GTA game is coming out now?
Oh, that's mad.
They give you 3 years warning now, don't they? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's a thing like this. Like, that's why print media's dead. Like, everyone just wants to watch some YouTube reviews, and that's about it now, you know?
Yeah. Well, even the YouTube reviews are getting, well, from the big sites. Like, I mean, I don't personally trust the...
Well, no, it's all the small people now, isn't it? All the independents.
Yeah, they're the ones I watch. The ones, because, like I said, I remember a few years ago when they were doing, like, the game reviews, and a lot of the big ones like IGM and GameSpot and all stuff, they were all saying the, I think it was Control, and they were saying the exact same words and the same, like, sentences of everybody else. I'm like, you're obviously paid to say that because IGN said it exactly the same. GameSpot. So I'm like, I don't trust you. Plus they had, what was it, the GameSpot, the guy who went off and did Giant Bomb, where they threatened to fire him if he didn't change one of his reviews.
Oh, Gertzman.
Yeah, that guy. And he was like, no. So they fired him. He went off and made a Giant Bomb. And I think the company who owned GameSpot then bought that out as well. So he's technically...
Wasn't it Kane and Lynch or something?
Yeah, Kane and Lynch too.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't get that. They gave it like either a 6 or a 7. So it's not like they gave it a 1 out of 10 and slaughtered it. It's not bad. It wasn't a bad review, was it?
No, I thought it was a reasonable game. It wasn't incredible, but I had fun with it.
It was a fair review, and I'm just like, it's not like in Folklore where Edge magazine, like I said, we were talking about it earlier. They gave GTA 3 like a 5 out of 10 and said it's completely average and boring, and I'm like,
Wow.
but they actually apologised and re-reviewed it and gave it an 8 like 2 months later, which is, you don't very often get that, do you?
No.
But
it might have just been the reviewer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was that person just didn't fan. Which, to be fair, if that guy just said it's not my cup of tea, they should never have changed it, should they? If people don't like GTA games, so if they got me to review a RTS game, not my cup of tea, I'm not going to enjoy it, am I? So just don't review. I think if you review a game, you should either be impartial or at least like enjoy the genre of game.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want to give it a fair chance. Because if people are going to buy or want to know about that game, they're already interested in that type of game. But
yeah, I agree.
No more game. I mean, to be honest,
it makes me sad a little bit because I've still got I was looking through my wallet today because I never take it out with me anymore because I'm
game reward card.
Yeah, my really old. Where is it? It's a really old one, and even when I went into game and bought something like years ago, they were really shocked that I still had it. Like
I had that. You've
really
probably got the same one as me. Like the one that's got like purple blob spots on it or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm actually just trying to find it at the minute. It was in there earlier.
I still had one. I still had a Game Station card as well, which was the store that died so game could live.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Really
old. I think yours might be older than mine, Webby.
Yeah. It's a really old reward card.
What was the original name? Because obviously it was something, then it was Electronics Boutique.
I don't remember.
And then it was
EB and Game. I don't know if they...
Game Station they bought out as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because you had Electronics Boutique, which was great, and then I remember we had Game and Game Station, and Game bought out Game Station, didn't they? And then we had, like in Cambridge, we had a Game and a Game Station next door to each other for years, even after Game bought out Game Station, and then eventually they shut the Game Station store down and had everything in Game. But yeah, it's just really weird at that time
now,
period.
Some places, Game is stashed away in like sports stores, and
it is mine up here. Yeah. It's right at the back of the sports store. It's really small.
More shops.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they've got any separate shops anymore. I don't know. They might do. But...
Yeah, down my area it's a solo shop.
Oh, okay.
Well, I remember a few years ago there was 3 where I am in Norwich, and now there's like 1.
Wow.
And it's not very good because, yeah. So I say everything's really expensive. I mean, I actually went in there. We were in the sports shop looking at stuff, and I was like, "Oh, that's in here now." So I sort of walked over and had a look, and I thought, "Oh, all the merchandise tat and crap. I don't really want any of that stuff. Those little statue things that hold your controllers. Yeah, as soon as I put my controller in, that's just going to fall off and break. And I think they had a game in there which I wanted. That was one of the WWE, but it was the year before one.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was like a tenner. I thought, I'll play that. I don't care playing the older version because, I'd rather pay the older version than 60, 70 quid for the new one because they're a bit like the FIFA games, they drop really quickly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll have that. And they had like 5 or 6 boxes on the shelf, and again, we haven't got any. I'm like, oh.
That's a bit stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, no wonder you're going bust then. You've got like multiple boxes of that on the shelf and you haven't got any.
That's
And it's like their
ridiculous,
deal of the week or super deal or whatever they called it. So I'm like,
Cool. All right, shall we get into the news then?
Mm-hmm.
There was a Nintendo Direct this week, wasn't there?
yeah.
Yes.
I think all the shows this year have just outshone Sony completely, haven't they? I think the PlayStation event was definitely the worst.
Well, they didn't
careful,
actually have an
that's
official
Facebook.
event, did they?
I certainly remember watching a PlayStation show.
Yeah, it was like a third-party showcase. It wasn't necessarily their show. They don't do them at the same time
Well,
as
I showed off
everyone else.
Sackboy.
Yeah, but it was only like a 20-minute show, wasn't it, or something at the end of the day. It was just like very light on stuff.
I
It was
think
just kind
everyone
of
was
we're still doing
expecting,
stuff.
like, even though E3's dead, I think Xbox and Nintendo still did like an E3 type event showcase thing and showed the amount of games, whereas Sony, it was just like a little 20-minute thing where they showed off about 6 or 7 games. So I think compared to that, but I think Sony does that 4 or 5 times a year, where I think Xbox only does the big one around, now, and then they may do another couple of tiny ones, but I think PlayStation does do loads of tiny ones.
And apparently Xbox and Nintendo are going to be at Gamescom this year, but no PlayStation.
No, just Xbox. No PlayStation.
Nintendo
No.
Okay, so just Xbox then. Okay. I mean, I'm not
Which
really
has
big
been
into...
the case for a while now.
Yeah.
When it comes to what's it?
I'm just going to say I'm not really big into Nintendo now, but some of the games did look quite interesting, so bear with me. So the big one was The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which they showed off. It looked like the old kind of top-downy type Zelda games, like a weird, funky art style, which I like the art styles of these. Yeah. But you don't play as Link. You play as Zelda in this one.
So why is it not called The Legend of Link?
Oh, I don't know. But the gameplay mechanics look quite cool. Look, this did intrigue me because I remember loving those old Zelda games in that, that kind of top down like years ago. And I think playing a Zelda instead of Link is going to bring in some really interesting gameplay elements, to be honest.
Yeah, because you can basically replicate items and animals and things you've fought against, etc., can't you?
Yeah.
I hope they do completely different, because like with Zelda, that's always the same thing, oh, now I get the bow, and now I get the sword, and now I get the slingshot and stuff, so maybe she'll have her own stuff, mate.
She has got her own stuff, so she has like a magic wand, and she can, as I say, like duplicate stuff, so like it brings in puzzles where you like make like stairs out of certain items or block wind on like narrow paths, and the way you defeat enemies. There's a bit here where she's like getting a rock, making a rock out of thin air with her magic, and then throwing it at an enemy, and then that enemy, once it's dead, she can clone it whenever she wants, and those enemies fight for her. So it's gonna, bring in some.
She's a necromancer.
Pretty much, yes. So I think it looks quite cool. So yeah. So there's that. Metroid Prime Beyond. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So people are obviously excited for a new Metroid. Are you excited?
There's a lot of people already stating that game's going to be on both systems.
Yeah, that looks like a Switch 2 launch title. I think they're going to do it, both like they did with Breath of the Wild.
And Twilight Princess as well.
Yeah, I think that'll be on. I'm surprised if that's on both. And
you reckon?
Yeah.
Huh?
I think Nintendo sort of admitted that the new Switch will be announced within the next 12 months, but there was nothing more, because they're going to announce it around the end of January, just so they don't want to affect Christmas sales.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
So they did last time, didn't they? Like they announced it, I think January, February from March, which was
Right.
really short. Like 2 months for a console. From announcing to coming out. Because a lot of other places sometimes give you a year, don't they?
Yeah. No, it looks interesting if you're into those Metroid games. Obviously, I know it's got a big following, so yeah, all good. Mario and Luigi a brothership. I thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah, apparently it's been a while since they've actually done a new Mario and Luigi game that isn't like a remake of some sort.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of them this gen, haven't we? Like the remakes of the GameCube, remakes of the DS and 64 and stuff like that. Which is good, because some of those games are done, it's nice to play. If you didn't play them back in the day.
Yeah. No, it looks interesting, I think, It's a good couch co-op type game, I think, and it's all cell shaded. It looks quite nice, the art style, because obviously the Switch is so underpowered now that Nintendo have to do something with the art to make these games look good, and it looks good. It really does. So
yeah. Plus, I found out this week that they said that the Paper Mario games, like the main guy that said that that was inspired by the Parappa the Rapper on PS1.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, something I didn't know that, and I thought I knew a lot about stuff like that. But yeah, he admitted years ago I was inspired by that.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Wasn't Paper Mario out on the Super Nintendo though?
I have no idea.
No, I think the first
Or
Paper
am I thinking
Mario
of
was...
Mario RPG? I might be thinking of Mario.
Mario RPG was that. I think the first paper was I want to say late N64 or GameCube.
Fair enough, mate. Right, I'm gonna just gloss over the rest. I think a new Mario Party, a new Donkey Kong. Well, it's actually a remake of Donkey Kong Country. So that's pretty cool. A Dragon Quest 3, or Dragon Quest 1 and 2 and 3 remake as well.
They looked great.
Yeah, do you think you'd play them, Webby? Because I know you liked the old Dragon's Quest.
I've never played them, mate. I've never played... Well, I played the newer ones. Dragon
That's
Quest
what I meant.
11, but not...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping these come to the platforms, because I've given up on buying any Nintendo systems now, so...
They're coming out on everything, I think, as far as I'm aware.
A new Ace Attorney, Fairy Tale 2, adding some new sports to Switch Sports.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's a good job they're still keeping that going. They're not actually charging you for it, so that's quite nice.
RPG called Fantasia Neo Dimension, that looks quite interesting.
Which is made by Mistwalker Studio and is also soundtracks composed by Uematsu, the Final Fantasy composer.
Yeah.
It was a mobile phone game, but it's obviously now getting a stretch of lease of life on actual proper platforms.
Yeah. Disney Illusion Island, which looks quite interesting. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. And a game that came out actually on the day on all systems, Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. It's like it's Metal Slug, but it's like a tower defense type game. You have to choose your characters and chuck them in. It's quite interesting. And a bunch of N64 stuff coming to the online. There's nothing else I really want to mention, really, to be honest.
Not the game that everyone's been talking about since it was mentioned.
What's that?
The Capcom X-Men collection.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Which everyone's been going mental over
Marvel versus
online, yeah.
Well, I was actually going to... Yeah, because I've got it in my news section, because... but
Well, we're in the news section now.
Oh, no, in my other bit of the news section, if that makes sense.
Fair.
But it's coming to everything except for Xbox.
Yeah, which is weird.
It's due to a some issue with like the program, isn't it, that it uses,
I thought
or
it's because it's
something
got
I had.
Spider-Man in it.
No, I think it's because something to do with like the net code or something isn't fantastically good and easy to copy over onto the Xbox,
But
which
it's
is
weird
kind of
because it's
bizarre
not
because it was
on.
coming to the PC and stuff.
But it's not coming to PS5. It's for PS4, which obviously you can still play on PS5. But it said PS4.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. You can still buy PS4 games through the PS5 store.
Yeah.
There's going to be no upgrade in buying a PS5 version over a PS4 version because these
Yeah.
games are like decades old.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense for them to do that.
Yeah.
But it is actually getting a physical release, whereas I believe the Capcom Fighting Collection didn't outside of Asia.
Yeah.
I know Asia got physical copies. But yeah, every day I wake up and go on my Twitter, there's people talking about this and all excited for it and everything. Because it actually contains a couple of games that you couldn't actually get before.
Right. What? Well, legally anyway.
Well, no, as in like, I don't think they actually really released them for console.
Oh right.
Because it was only some of the latter X-Men and Marvel games that actually came out. I remember one of the first ones my friend got might have been just X-Men versus Street Fighter, which used like a kind of memory card thing that used to plug into the back of the Saturn that gave it a bit more power, a bit like what was it called? Like the expansion pack. Yeah, the expansion pack for the 64 N64.
Yeah.
So they kind of did one for the Dreamcast, and there was a few games that used it, and one of them was like an X-Men Street Fighter game.
Ugh.
So yeah, apparently a lot of those games were either stuck on like emulations or there was no actual legal way to buy them anymore.
No, because I know they're all on Fightcade on PC, which is like a platform you can play these games and then on online on this unofficial service. But yeah, this is going to be the first, I think, official one. But I'll say it's just a bit of a shame it's not coming to Xbox because obviously PlayStation and PC and Switch people will be enjoying this and Xbox people won't be, which I think it's a bit of a shame.
It might eventually. I don't think they actually ruled it out. No, they just said something about there was an issue with something or other, but that's the case. I mean, surely Konami must be looking at some of these things and being like, maybe we should bundle some of our stuff together on like a collection and put it out there for sale, see how it goes.
Yeah.
They did the Metal Gear Solid collection. It sold like shit.
And to be honest, if you're going to be doing that kind of thing now, and you're not necessarily going to be doing a physical copy outside of maybe certain territories, what does it cost you to maybe just throw out shit digitally?
Yeah, I know. I don't know how much work goes into getting these games to run on the newer systems. I don't know.
Well, how
obviously Konami's got
not a lot of money, do they?
Konami's got like a huge portfolio of titles that people would love to play. I mean, to be honest, back in the Super Nintendo days, Konami was probably my favourite developer or my favourite publisher.
Oh, they made us some good stuff, mate.
Now look at them.
Oh no.
Well, they're working on Metal Gear, I suppose, so hopefully that'll be good.
Are they doing that, or have they outsourced it to someone else?
I think it's them working with someone else, maybe, I don't know. But I hope not, because we all know what happens is when Japanese publishers generally outsource their stuff to Western studios, you end up with stuff like Lost Planet 3. And then it kills the franchise.
Lols.
So yeah, I think it was a French studio that actually did Lost Planet 3, wasn't it? Rings a bell in the back of the old mind somewhere.
Well, let's move on anyway.
Yeah.
A few other things to talk about. So, yeah, I've talked about the Marvel vs. Capcom thing. I read some stuff today, Darren, that might upset you a little bit about PSVR 2. There's some stuff come out that apparently PlayStation have begun to sunset it already. And they've put heavy discounts onto their remaining headsets because they're just not selling.
Because no games really use them.
And the games that are already being made internally have either lost the rest of their funding or a lot of funding, or they've been cancelled, which is a huge shame.
Oh, it generally is. But like I say, I picked it up for literally a couple of games, so it doesn't really bother me too much here and there. And there'll still be ones coming out in dribs and drabs, but nothing's really supported it.
Yeah.
Like, there was more support for the original PSVR when it came out.
Yeah.
And that was shockingly bad as well.
Like, Namco supported it. Obviously, you had the Senran Kagura developer supported it a little bit, and other bits and bobs. And now it's literally like all you get is like £10 to £15 downloadable game.
Which is a bit like the Oculus. Yeah.
And they're all the fucking same. They're all like sort of weird FPS games or something weird. Like, you'll never get anything that's actually interesting for them. Like, the only one I'm actually kind of interested in and maybe to pick up is the Metro game.
Yeah.
And that's obviously if there's a physical copy. If there isn't, then I won't be touching that. I mean, they never even bothered to even feel confident enough to put bloody Horizon on a physical version. That should have been a warning sign straight out the gate.
Yeah.
That they're not even willing to take a risk to make physical copies for their main flagship game made by one of their actual mainline studios.
Yeah. Shit.
But yeah, because obviously when I was looking through comments the other day, like when obviously that one we was talking about early on, Still Wakes the Deep.
Yeah.
That's the kind of game I want to play in VR.
Yeah.
But people don't make them.
No, because you enjoyed playing Resident Evil 7 in VR, didn't you? I remember.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're all fantastic. They work really well. And what you want is those interesting scenarios, interesting locations, wonderful sort of out of their worlds, full on atmosphere. The headset just gives it that extra jazz. But no one does that. It's like, oh, he's super hot VR. He's like weird racing game VR. He's something else. And it's just like, oh, you're not going to pull people in for that.
No.
Because it literally gets to the point when I'm sitting there watching a lot of the people reacting to, like, even the Sony events, and it gets to the VR stuff, and they just roll their eyes.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's literally like, oh, here's a shooter. Here's another shooter. Oh, here's another shooter. Oh, here's a medieval kind of dungeon crawler that looks kind of okay and decent. And then that's it. And it's like, I mean, it'll be interesting because obviously Behemoth is still coming out, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one where it's kind of like a VR Shadow of the Colossus kind of thing, which looks kind of interesting. But when you look what I said, you've got Sony, and it's like, oh, you're going to do a physical copy for Horizon Call of the West? No. Oh, that's weird because, I don't know, Hairy Bumchin over here has put out their game that costs 20 quid physically. And Spunky Bullfrog have also put out their game that costs 25 quid physically. You can't fucking do that with your own. You're really instilling confidence in the buyer here. So, I don't know. I was a bit gutted, obviously, when, what was it, Russia Blood 2 or whatever it was, never came out physically either. Because I really enjoyed the first one of those. I thought it was fantastic.
Just a shame. I mean, I just think it's just been a bit too niche, but too expensive. But there we go.
I mean, they will still bring the VR games out, But with that information, you're probably going to end up with the companies that are working on their current versions or games to go, right, yeah, we'll put that and then we'll move on because there's no point putting it out there. I mean, I heard the rumour, obviously everyone heard the rumour, where it's like, oh, we're going to allow people on PC to use the PSVR 2 as like an alternate headset.
Well, they should do.
Still haven't actually heard anything outside of that. And also, their biggest fuck up, I would say, is not making the original the PSVR titles backwards compatible. You can't play any of the original PSVR games on the PSVR 2.
Yeah. That's ridiculous, isn't it?
So it was asking people that had spent X amount of money on a PSVR headset, like, oh, no, you're going to need a brand new headset for this next one.
Yeah.
And also, you can't play any of your previous games. You're going to have to just play them on the old one. Yeah, so it doesn't really work, does it?
No.
Like,
it's taking the piss.
And then, like I said, all the big studios kind of just didn't want to touch it. The only ones that actually had the cojones to was Capcom with RE8 and obviously RE4 Remake, and they're phenomenal. But it just depends whether you want to spend hundreds of pounds on a VR unit just to play those.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gran Turismo is supposed to be really good as well, but obviously I don't own that, so that's another one that's obviously really good for it. And yeah, you can get like the odd PSVR games here and there, like physically. I've got one still wrapped, Disoncronia or something.
Okay.
Which is like a Japanese murder mystery kind of game in VR. But you can get the odd titles here and there. It's just they're not really advertised. They're not really pushed. And they kind of shit the bed. And I think with it, if they do kind of sunset the PS4 2, it's going to be ages before anyone bothers to go, oh, look.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just going to be like, oh, here we go again.
I feel like...
And it's a fucking shame because it's really good tech.
I feel really like VR in general is kind of had its heyday. You know, like where we had with the 3D
it's a shame
TVs.
Because you will never get anything as immersive as that.
I know, but it's just I think it's too expensive to buy a headset for most people to enjoy. You got a lot, you get the VR sickness, which I get really, really bad, which is why I don't have a headset now. And then just
a lot of that is due to the frame rate, and stuff on games. So it will come back, I believe, but it's going to be a long time, and the technology will have to move a hell of a lot far forward. But it's already decent enough as it is, but just no one's really willing to do it. But again, if the base isn't there for the people to put the stuff out on to sell to it, then it's kind of like just something that's never going to shift or move, is it?
Yeah. Right, I'm going to move on. Last thing I've got, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, I can't remember now. Black Myth Wukong has been delayed on Xbox Series X and S, and apparently it's because the lack of power on the Series S is the cause of the delay.
Shocking. Weren't loads of people trying to blame it on Sony, basically saying Sony paid them off?
Yeah. I believe so, but I think, from what I've been reading, it's because of the Series S. They just can't get it to run decent or something.
Like I said before, I kind of get why the Series S exists. It wouldn't exist on my watch. I just don't see the point in having an underpowered version of a current system out there.
Yeah.
That sort of holds other things back. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are actually some games that perform better on the Series S than on the Series X. Because of obviously the resolution and the frame rate and the way they're sort of done. But that's like very few and far between. And some developers have actually learnt some good tricks from obviously trying to cram stuff onto the S, because it is obviously underpowered compared to the others. But Yeah, obviously Sony don't have that issue because they just sell an all-digital PS5 if that's what you wanted.
Yeah. There's too many variations of Xbox, and so having two different levels of power on a console. It's just the last couple of gens have just been very PC-like in the console space, and I don't think that's the way consoles should go. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the S was weird anyway because as far as I remember, the original Xbox One S was a disc system, wasn't it? It was kind of like, oh, we've made one that can play 4K Blu-rays, and it can run stuff a little bit better because it's got a little bit more jazz under the hood, and we'll use this as a little stopgap between this and the obviously what was eventually the One X.
Yeah. And then the One X, I think, is going to be just as powerful as the Series S, isn't it? But without the SSD and the
No, I think
CPU.
Yeah, no, I think I don't think the One S does 4K, does it?
No, but the Series
and whereas the One X, does the Series S do 4K?
It can, but
I think it can, but I think it runs all games at 1440p. I think, I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's all very odd.
So yeah, and then we're getting another version of it coming out soon, aren't we?
That's
we're just getting a white Series
X.
all digital.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why didn't you do that to begin
with? 1 terabyte S and a 2 terabyte X.
Yeah. Or you could just buy the standard one now and buy a memory stick thing.
Yeah, that's all I've done. Yeah.
And they still don't hold enough.
No, I filled mine up now, yeah.
Like, to actually survive a generation of consoles nowadays and to be able to buy everything you want without having to constantly delete shit, I reckon you're probably going to need like a 10 terabyte hard drive.
At least, yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's all my news, guys. You guys got anything else? I'm just really hot and tired now. I'm feeling a bit drained.
Yeah.
It's only just started.
So Limited Run Games did a little event, or I say a little event, I don't know, where they just basically announced loads of games they're releasing. Like, I think they announced a few of them about a year ago, like Gex 3D's getting a
Oh right, yeah. Apparently that's still with Square Enix as the license holder.
All right.
Yeah, but I think that they're doing it like their edition and a normal thing. I think was it Beyond Good and Evil. I think that's getting a HD remake, and they're putting it out plus other people. So
that's just going to irritate people, isn't it?
Yeah.
What happened to the actual new game? Because we had a trailer from Ubisoft years ago.
It's dead, mate.
Yeah,
it's dead,
mate. It's well over 10 years. It could be 15 years. It's supposed to come out on 360, and they've cancelled it. They never officially cancel anything. No Ubisoft. They just ignore it long enough to make people think it's dead. And then they announced another trailer, which that's all they had, just to reimagine, and then they just did no work again. I'm like, just let it go. I mean, to be fair, the game wasn't even that good. It was different. I'll give it's different. It was interesting, but it wasn't like... Do you know what I mean?
Groundbreaking.
It wasn't groundbreaking. It never did anything better than anything else. It was a good sort of niche game, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
like cult classic.
Yeah.
Game that came with ended up in cult status. I mean, I played plenty of those kind of awesome games on the 360 that have become kind of cult classics.
Yeah, but not enough that they'd release another one because they didn't make enough money.
I'm still waiting. I suppose. I mean, I heard Limited Run was supposed to be doing the physical copy for Hi-Fi Rush, but I've got no idea what's actually going on with that now that Tango have been shut down.
I have no idea. I'm just looking on this Limited Run website. Yeah. Very cool. Alan Wake
Well, that's
2
okay,
Collector's
then.
Edition, $200.
Yeah. Doesn't come with the game.
Oh right, weird.
I mean, I'm
Because
assuming it doesn't.
I've actually seen, you can pre-order that from most of the websites. So
The only thing that's iffy, I know they're not the only website, but they take payment straight away, and sometimes the games don't come out for a year and a half.
That's redonk. Yeah, that's taking the piss.
It's coming out in, apparently the physical for Alan Wake 2 is like October, isn't it? So it's a while off.
Oh yeah, I know, but you can buy that not from physical. I meant the limited run only.
Oh right, yes, I know what you mean.
Some of those ones. I mean, I bought Blood Rain something, and that was about 18 months, and apparently a really shoddy port, and the PS2 versions are better.
Wow. Cool. Anything else, dudes?
No.
I think we're about at the end then, to be honest.
Yay.
It's really hot. I seem to have got another little sniffle going on. I don't know where it's come from. I think my children have made me ill again.
Likely.
Could be COVID again.
Like Petri dishes on legs, mate.
Oh, no.
Like, I generally give children a wide berth whenever whenever I'm out in public and I see like some snivelling kid like walking about. I'm just usually like, stay the hell away.
Too right. Cool. All right, dudes. If that is the case, I'm going to end it here. And that'll be that for this week. A bit shorter than usual, but just too hot and bothered, I think, tonight. And my kids have been annoying. I've seen them run past my room a good few times, so...
And today's the coolest day of the week.
Plus we're in that summer thing, ain't we, where there's not as many games. Or not many new games.
I mean, there's been a few on old Game Pass, as I say, but...
Yeah, there are some sort of coming out. I always laugh when you get all this thing of like, oh no, you shouldn't really release games during the summer period. And I remember, didn't Arkham Asylum release in the summer?
Yeah.
And I also think Arkham Knight just recently had its like 9-year anniversary or something. 8 or 9 years it came out ago. And then they went from that and went to Suicide Squad. Good job.
Lols. Cool. All right, dudes. Well, I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been awesome. Thank you so much. So, for me, Mark Webb, gamertag, Webby360G.
Nick Folks on Twitter and Twitch.
And Sensei Switch.
So thank you very much. We will see you next week. Goodbye.